So today I have not only the honor of sitting down with one of Long Island's veterans, but I also have the honor of speaking with the man who has the greatest short game on Long Island. So with that being said, he's got some great things coming down this year, and I would like for him to promote what he's got and as well as introduce himself.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, man.
Not a problem.
Greetings, everyone. Rob Novotny. For those that don't know me, I am born and raised out here on Long Island. So as far as this reaches, Long Island is where the beautiful beaches are. I like to say my neighbors are Jimmy Fallon and Jennifer Lopez, but that's not true. So out here on Long Island, I was born and raised out here, right? And you know, to give a quick intro, I was 14 when the towers came down. So going from my bus stop to my high school, we would pass all of the fire departments with the purple and black drapes, you know, so that led me to my decision to join the Marine Corps. Graduated in 2005, joined the Marine Corps immediately that summer. So September of 2005, I was down in boot camp. Did 8 years active duty. First 4 was stationed stateside in Virginia on a rifle range, and got a chance to deploy there with a small unit, 3rd Battalion, 4th Marines. Went to Iraq for a couple months, came home, re-enlisted, loved what I was doing. I tend to say that there's no better job than being an enlisted Marine. No offense to the other branches, that's what I was. So there it is. Re-enlisted, got stationed in southern Japan. I was down in Japan for the big earthquake in 2011. So that's,
Oh shit.
Yeah. I've got two sides of, I got to see what the Marine Corps does as a ground and pound infantry style.
Kick the fucking door in, things and make things go boom, all that shit.
And then I have the luxury of knowing what it's like in a garrison style environment and doing disaster relief and humanitarian assistance. So super, super blessed, very, very fortunate. 8 years. I got to learn a ton. When I transitioned out, I crafted my own style of leadership, brought that to the business world, and now I run a successful wealth management firm. On top of having what we'll dive into now, the more along the lines of the veteran service organizations, Vets Lives Matter, Project 9 Line, the New York Veteran-Owned Business Association, and so on.
Dude, it's incredible fucking stories, and I know for a fact that the passion that you have behind not first off, hold up that mug again. Hold up.
Big fan.
Yeah. So go to originmain.com, Welsh 10, get you that mug also. So
the size of my head.
But it's an amazing mug. But your passion behind the 22. So how we met was back in September. Wow. Back in November, we had the veterans event over in Suffolk County Community College, and I was humbly asked to come across and just call out, the 22 push-ups. We were doing 22 push-ups every 22 minutes for the Veterans Day event that we were doing, and that's where we got a chance to have a conversation. And just seeing your passion behind your project also is what made me even more motivated to restart up this project of my podcast, to get information like yours out there as well, just because the good amount of people that I do surround myself with are veterans, and never even heard of half the things that that you do for the veteran community. So I want to make sure that we get this message out there to them, and as well as the up and coming event that we have coming, that is going to be an amazing but brutal and terrifying at the same time, but I'm more than excited to be a part of it. So talk a little bit more about this Mile 22.
Sure. So I found a post on the internet probably a year and a half ago that was just, a bunch of, I don't know if it's team guys or Delta operators or whomever. It looked like some sort of special style unit by their fatigues they're wearing, and it's blurred out, and in front of the picture in just bold white letters it says "Don't fucking quit." Right. And it's a cool looking photo, and I just posted it. I post it maybe twice a month just to boom, it's out there. Don't. That's the only thing that we have to do is don't quit. Don't take your life. That is quitting, right? Don't do it. Just don't. Not a fan of procrastinating, but if you're going to procrastinate on one thing, it is ending your life. Just don't do it. Do it tomorrow. And then say that again tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. So I like the message that it sent. It's blunt. It's in your face. If people don't like it, then they probably don't understand the hardships that we go through. So that's where the statement came from. DFQ, don't fucking quit. And I've been toying around with the idea of creating something that is difficult, that is challenging, that would test people to not quit. And I wanted to do a decathlon at first, like a 10 event thing, the DFQ decathlon. And then that's overwhelming. That's too much. Tone it back. So then I was like, all right, well, there's triathlons and, duathlons. And I wanted to do a run, swim, run. That's something we do in the Marine Corps. It's neat, right? It tests your capabilities, right? Marine Corps being an aquatic force and amphibious force from our roots. So that scares people too, right? Getting in open water, you're not going to get a lot of traction with that.
Fucking terrifies me.
Yeah, right. Like I'm not.
If I can't touch the floor, if I can't see the floor, that I have a problem with that. I have a fucking problem with that. If I cannot physically, I'm 6'3". If I stand, my head in most pools is above the water.
Yeah.
But I'm touching the floor. If I can't physically touch the floor and there's not at least maybe like 2 feet of water, like the distance, I'm talking like 20 feet. No, I'm sorry. You lost me. Like that's just my fear is what the hell is going to come up underneath me and grab me and eat me and pull me the fuck back down.
Eat me.
Yeah, exactly. Eat me.
Never be seen again. Gone. Just totally gone. Just, not even like a piece of me.
No, just blink. Now you're becoming shit. Literally. Like now you're becoming a literal pile of shit.
You might turn into coral. I mean, that's the best of your new life.
I also noticed the fucking coin collection in the background, brother, man. That is a solid ass fucking coin collection. Dude, that's incredible. That's a fucking collection and a half. You're literally, there's not a single spot on there you can fit another coin. There's literally nowhere. There's nowhere. It's completely filled up. And for those that aren't a veteran or prior service or any type of military, know anything about the military, those coins back there, that's a hell of a collection. Those coins there are called challenge coins. You can either get them from the PX or you can get them from sergeant majors. You can get them from colonels. You can get them from basically higher ups. I happen to only have 10, but that's
huge,
fucking huge. That's a fucking huge collection. I love it.
It's gorgeous.
There's a lot up there. Yeah, there's a lot up there. That's a lot up there.
A lot of stories, it's too cool. It's cool.
Gotta have you back on again to talk a little bit about more
man,
stories.
Just the challenge coin convo.
Dude, I love it. I love it. But one question I did wanted to ask: how did you start Vets Lives Matter? Like, what was the whole like beginning of this?
So, Vets Lives Matter started before I even transitioned out. So, everyone has their best friend in the military, right? It's very, very common where either you were roommates in your first duty station and you've stayed in touch forever, or something along those lines. So my best friend, fellow Marine, Sergeant Daniel DeMeo, he unfortunately is one of the statistics, right? He chose to end his life prematurely. On my 24th birthday, right? July 12th, 2011, wished me a happy birthday. And that was it. So
that's heavy. That's heavy.
It was tough. It was, it led me to where I am today. So, I still hate him for it and love him at the same time. Right. And, it's my issue now. It's my passion project, and it's going to be who I am the rest of my life. Had it not happened this way, who knows where I would be personally? Who knows where the state of the veteran support organizations on Long Island would be? There's a lot of who knows. Not to say that I'm the pivotal person that is changed everything for the better.
No, but
It made me,
it's safe to say that you are one of them, at least. Like, you definitely are one of the individuals out there that are truly pushing the narrative for the, getting mental health and mental help in the veteran community.
I hope so. That is the hope. Excuse me. And so it started there. It started there. As I transitioned out, I could only find work in Indianapolis. And I mean, not for nothing, all of my reports and my resume are decent, at least decent, right? I can pat myself on the back and say that I've done a really, really good job pretty much everywhere I've been. I'm proving that now, but at the moment of transitioning out, I wanted to work in New York. I'm from here. I had to find work in Indianapolis. And guess what's not in Indianapolis? A Marine Corps base. I was super alone, right? So through my friends, I found Team Red, White, and Blue. And they're a pivotal, just a great organization that really helped me transition back. So in Indianapolis, there was a great chapter, started going to events. About 40% of it is civilians, which I think is great and needed, super needed. If we just stick around VFWs and veteran service organizations that are strictly veteran only, we're never going to fully transition back, right? We need that. We need civilian engagement to become successful civilian entrepreneurs, parts of the community, fathers and mothers, right? We need that engagement. So Team Red, White, and Blue was really helpful for me there. And I noticed that there was more that could be done. And there wasn't anything speaking specifically to, this is where Vets Lives Matter started, speaking to employment, really. It was, the Wounded Warrior Project was really, really big. That was super segmented to Wounded Warriors. There was Helmets to Hard Hats, which was just Indeed.com rebranded. So
yeah, I'm familiar with Helmets to Hard Hats.
Right. There were things. So I thought I could create something special and be the next big thing. And what aspirations and dreams I had to help every veteran transition out successfully and get into leadership specific positions, not just data entry, not just find employment, but gainful employment. So it started there. And it started with me and my healing process. And how was I going to heal specifically? I needed to figure out. So I decided to go on a 400 some odd mile hike from where I met my friend Dan to where he's buried. So I planned out this big hike to raise awareness for the transition issues and suicide in general, right? And I walked from Quantico, Virginia, to Washington, D.C., to Annapolis, Maryland, to Baltimore, Maryland, to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to the 9/11 World Trade Center Memorial, up to West Point, and then finished in Dover Plains. And it took me 23 days. Kind of weird how this all works out. It took me 23 days to represent, at the time, 22 veterans and 1 service member a day were taking their life. So miraculous that it ended in 23 days. I wanted to get to my best friend's headstone at noon on Memorial Day. And I got there at 1 p.m. on Memorial Day because I was asked to speak at the Memorial Day parade.
So you would have been there right on time, if not earlier, if you had. Oh, I mean, technically, I mean, you made it. Like, that's still technically noon. That's still technically noon. Like that 12 to 2 o'clock spot. It's like noon.
It was miraculous how, if anyone's ever planned a 23-day anything, diet, meal prep, anything, something goes wrong. Nothing went wrong for 23 straight days. On my scheduled rest days, it rained. On my scheduled hike days, it was beautiful.
Sounds like you had a little bit of assistance there. I don't know how much
of help.
A little bit of help there. Not to say that I don't know how much of a spiritual religious person you are, but that sounds like you had your friend there next to you basically the whole entire time.
Yeah, there has to be some sort of higher power, right?
And for everything to go right for 23 days. 23 days. And it's still to make it. You say you're gonna make it at noon, and then you make it there, knowing that you're gonna make it there on time, but then boom, you get fucking pulled, sidetracked, and it's like, nah, Now you got to speak to all these veterans. Now you got to speak to all
Right.
these civilians
Something
about,
better happened.
and then you got to the headstone. Still, like that's still
Right.
like, damn, that's like that's like I got chills. Like I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
I got some chills from that. I got some chills.
It's incredible. It was such an incredible thing. I met some amazing people throughout that and realized my spot. That's where I really realized what I could do. And it was becoming a face and a motivator, an engager in the veteran community. So immediately rebranded, created a mission statement to do more of a consulting. Vets Lives Matter now acts as a consulting pro bono for other veteran nonprofits to really identify how they can fit in this convoluted, sometimes overdone veteran service organization world where everyone wants to be the next Wounded Warrior Project. We found out that realistically, if you have such a dedicated and pointed mission statement, you're going to be able to help, which is what we want to do, right? And that's it. So if you want to be a veteran service organization that encaptures any veteran from any service era to get any benefit, you're not talking to anyone. You're realistically not talking to anyone. What you need to do is figure out we are dedicated to helping the pre 9/11, the Cold War era veterans who seem to not have any benefits their way, navigate to get to proper housing and all of, like, there's just a forgotten, and that's an opportunity, right? We see everything is dedicated to post 9/11 or Vietnam, right? There is
right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
There was still loss, and there was still a lot of tragedy during that time frame that people aren't talking about. That was just swept under the rug.
Right. A lot of conflicts too. A lot of pre-positioned votes that don't qualify for VFW. It's a very weird time frame, like the 80s and 90s, and it's very weird, right? So that's just a sample, right? There's plenty of great nonprofits out here that just need fine tuning to really hone in their message, and then they can start to truly help. So we've figured out the more pointed that mission statement can get, the better you're going to be able to find the target people and veterans you want to help and be successful in doing so. So that's what
incredible.
Vets Lives Matters turned into.
Incredible, honestly.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, I'd say so myself. That definitely is some pretty fucking incredible work that you're doing there for this community. Because not for nothing, it's the phrase that pains me the most is when I hear homeless veteran, or when I hear veterans in general that actually went overseas, served, or did some type of like extra work, or were a part of movements where they weren't necessarily wanting to, but they still were contracts. So they had to put their uniform on and do their duties, and then just to come back home and then be treated like shit and forgotten about by their government. That's where it hits a little bit deeper, because the amount of family that I have that are veterans also, and me being prior service, didn't do any, I consider myself prior service because didn't do anything overseas. I did 3 years. I got minimal contract. I'm honorable discharge. That was it. When people say thank you for your service to me, I cringe. It doesn't feel good. Like, it's just like, thank you for your support, and then I walk away. But then there's also the real veterans that I speak to, also the day-to-day basis in my gym, who didn't even know half the benefits that they truly had, because no one educated them. No one told them, like, as soon as their contract was up, what to do from here on. It was just, all right, goodbye, see you later. You know, not to go to your local VA and sit down with somebody and really go over, you know, what you may qualify for disability, what you may qualify for as far as, you know, extra benefits for, you know, getting some type of an apartment or a house. Like, no one tells anybody unless they are, you know, asking. And that's a major problem that is not even fully fixed in today's military. You know, you still got soldiers who are getting out of the military who are just going, I don't know what to do. Like, I've been told what to do with my entire life for the last 6 years, and I have no idea what to do now. Like, some of them have been, like, you know, straight out of high school, and they're 26, 27, 28, and almost damn near 30. You know, they didn't want to do a full life career, but they made 8 years out of it and want to do something different. And now here they are starting to transition out, and then boom, now they're stuck with their thumb up their ass and not realizing how to, switch up into being into the civilian, where you have the freedom now to do what you really want to do and educate what's going on, guys. So real quick, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this amazing company that I've now had the honor and privilege of partnering up with, Cannabolics. So for those that don't know Cannabolics is a Long Island based company, and they are specialists in cannabis. So those that know me know that I love my greens, and I am a daily greens user. As Pat McAfee says, vitamins. I love my vitamins. And when I say that Cannabolics has had the best source of vitamins, aka CBD, aka Delta 8, and even some live rosin flower, live rosin pens. When I tell you that this is hands down some of the best CBD on the market, I cannot stress it enough that this is hands down the best CBD you will get your hands on. In particular, I'm going to talk a little bit about this freeze gel here, this miracle worker for my knees especially. Now, my knees are completely destroyed from my time in the military and also from the years of doing improper form in the gym before I actually became educated. So my knees hate me. Not anymore. Now they love me every time I rub this on. It feels amazing. Currently, I have it on right now. After a heavy, intense session with my legs, I cannot feel any better with my knees than I do right now. Usually I feel a little bit of that achiness. I feel a little bit more of that soreness, that tightness, and I'm not feeling it. It's been about a week and almost 2 weeks now, and I have yet to feel a single ounce of that extra stress that I used to feel before I started using this here. The other thing I want to talk a little bit about, for those who are wanting to get elevated, but not to the point that you're sitting on your couch questioning your day, their Delta 8 is by far the best Delta 8 on the market. It is a great high if you are looking to be active, be functioning, and be relaxed at the same time. If you are looking to invest in anything from Cannabolics, go to cannabolics.org, not .com, cannabolics.org, 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 and then use promo code Welshcare, WELSHCARE, Welshcare at checkout, and you'll save an additional 10% off. You will see these products. I'm going to have Cannabolics all stacked up behind me as well. So you amazing gentlemen at Cannabolics, I cannot thank you enough. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this partnership. On to the next ad. What you really want to do and educate yourself and pursue what you want to as a passion, and maybe even open that business or do it up, but no one tells them how to fucking do it.
Yep. Yeah, that is a great topic, because even me, who I pride myself in having answers to these, I just found out about some extra benefits that were entitled. I just applied for my master's and got accepted. And New York State has, if you go to a state or city school, they're going to pay my tuition. So I've extended my whole education benefit, but there's more. There is more.
Yeah, that's right. I saw you post about that shit. Congratulations. Right? I saw you post about going back to college.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Right.
Good fucking shit.
So and even like I'm in wealth management, where I think that 80% of
that's always going to be needed. It's always going to be needed.
Right. And why didn't I know that there was something where paying for school is a very big topic in wealth management, student debt? Why didn't I know that there was a way for veterans to continue to accrue knowledge without paying a penny? Right. So even me, I have to, again, check my ego. I don't know it all. I have to keep searching and learning, Yeah. I hope one day that there is some sort of place where we can go, but there, laws change, projects come out, we should have somewhere that is a central hub, but It's going to take each
I mean, it should
individual
be considered
research.
the VA, but the VA is so slammed and it's so backed up, and it's not also properly run at 100%. Like, granted, it's getting better, but
Mhm.
at the same time, though, it could have been better for the last 20 years with the amount of technology that's advanced, and that some of the technology that they're using is still outdated. So if they just did the simple thing, or even if our government actually truly did give a shit instead of funneling around with stocks and everything else, they actually put the money into our veteran community. It it's it's a certain fucking, not even like rage, it's like past rage when I hear veterans getting fucked over because they were trying to get help and nobody was there to help them out, and the amount of doors that get slammed in their face. And it pains me because you serve a country thinking that after you're done, "Oh, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get my degree, and I'm going to open business," and it become and then you think it's going to go like this after you're done, and then you realize it's more like fucking this every single day and every single hour of your life, just because you're not only dealing with the mental wear and tear and fatigue that you have built up, and trauma that you have probably built up over your time frame in the military, and not going to therapy about it because they tell you, man up, man up, man up, man up. In reality, the thing to man up is to actually get help and fucking talk to your therapist about this shit. But that's a different conversation. Like that, we could go into
Yeah.
server. There's so many different things that are
Yeah.
wrong right now. I mean, there are things that are right with the military, but there's a lot of things that are wrong there as well. And it's a good reason why there's a more you don't see lifers anymore. You really don't see that many lifers
Right.
in the army
It's
or
true.
in the military anymore. You see people who are going for 3 to 8 years, and that's it. Like a good portion. I don't maybe one or two people from my graduating class out of like the 200 or so that joined the military are still in. One became a recruiter, and he's the one in the army, and he's the one who fucking told me all the things I should have done after the army. That my NCO, that my platoon leader, that my first sergeant, that my fucking supply, whatever, the person who was also in charge of my getting out, nobody told me a single damn thing, and here I am getting all the
Yeah.
information from a fucking recruiter.
Yeah. If that's one thing that's hard to deal with is every one of my leaders that is still in, I have 1,000,000% more knowledge than them on what it is to be out. They're not going to look at us like that.
Mm-mm.
They're like, oh, well, you were my sergeant, you were my corporal, you were my specialist, you were my, petty officer.
So I'm still gonna have this say over you.
Right. There's some sort of ego, which is
Mm-hmm.
it's a weird dynamic. And part of, again, what my 9 to 5, my job is helping people transition out and move their dollars and have good savings habits and stuff. And some people just don't want to hear it. Some people don't want to hear it. They're so set in their ways that it's
Mm-hmm.
difficult, and that's part of it. That's part of, like you mentioned, like you think it's going to go like this, so you expect it. And when that first roadblock comes up, you get discouraged and stop. And then 4 years later, try again. But in those 4 years, there's so much disconnect now. It's almost starting over, and then you're discouraged again.
Versus had you just stayed committed in the beginning of that 4 years, you would have been in a much different level where you're at now. Like, granted, you might not be where you thought you would be 4 years from then, but at the same time, you would be better where you're at versus if you had just sat there and done nothing. Like, the best example I'll share is myself with this shit. 4 years ago, I was making maybe $150 every 2 weeks doing personal training when I first got out of the military. Every 2 weeks getting paid $150. That means I'm making $75 a week on Long Island in Suffolk County. So yeah, it's ramen noodles. DoorDashing was on the side as well. Wear and tear on my car, just driving around delivering food to people who are just lazy ass people who just can't get up and get to the fucking. Granted, I use the service also, but that's at most of the nights on a fight night. But besides that, if there's like, I shit you not, I've had to deliver Dunkin' Donuts 2 houses down from somebody because they didn't want to walk. It was a little a 2 house. Yeah, it was right down the street, and they just didn't want to walk. It was just I had to deliver a cup of coffee. Yeah,
Interesting.
very interesting. It also shows you the amount of laziness and pettiness that's in this country. But aside from that, the the 40, and then now I'm literally making that with either, with one or just two clients in a day. And
Yeah.
I'm having now 12 clients a day versus my one client a day when I had back then. Like, if I just had quit then and went back to like a regular stable job, and had no desire to stay passionate towards what I really wanted to do, I would have never seen the success that I have right now. And I wouldn't have made the impact that I have right now on so many different lives. And proud to say that I've, been there for the veteran community. That when, just recently I had another good friend of mine from high school who just got out of the Army. And his story is, when I say the definition of toxic leadership, this man got put through the ringer and a half because I'm not gonna say it. Sorry, that story I'll have a different day. But the toxic leadership, and it's just the prime examples on why more soldiers are getting out. Like, you have people in leadership positions that deserve to be janitors, and it's sad because those are the ones that have the worst ego, the little dick energy, the ones who are always trying to, the Napoleon complex, all this shit. Like, it's just everything you could think in that kind of manner. And it's just the definition of what makes a soldier want to get the fuck out faster, because they don't want to deal with this. It's like having a horrible boss, but versus the civilian world where you could quit that job, your ass is stuck on a fucking contract for the next couple of years. And if you happen to quit or leave that job, you go AWOL, and then you're spending your happy ass in Fort Leavenworth for the next couple of years. Like, it's such a fucked system, but at the same time, it's several different fucking topics. Like, there's just so much that it's just not discussed. It's just genuinely not discussed and openly to the public. Like, these are things you don't hear in the regular mainstream media from people. Like, whenever the military does come up, it's in situations like we got right now with the Ukraine. It's situations where we have soldiers go missing. Like, tell me one real, outside of like humanitarian relief missions, like real positive messages that we've been getting from the military.
Right now, not a lot. You're correct. Right now, not a lot, which could speak to transparency, which is good. That is needed.
Yeah.
If there is one thing that comes of it,
just be more open, just be honest, be truthful with what's actually going on. Like, just be inspiring more people to become, involved with more nonprofits, because some people may not realize how many veterans are truly homeless right now, who are struggling to get a meal, who are, even struggling to get a job, or even trying to get in, comfortable in the civilian world. One of my good friends who is an Army veteran, at that, he's also a fucking Ranger, and he did a tour overseas, lost his leg, came back, and I would never forget, we were driving around in his car, in his truck at that, and in the middle of him driving, had a PTSD episode. And because he saw a can in the middle of the road. And for those that don't know, when you're overseas and you see a can in the middle of the road, you don't see garbage in the middle of a desert. So meaning that there's probably an IED planted underneath it, and someone's not going to notice it, and they're going to drive over it, and boom, there goes the Humvee. Now, him seeing that can, he immediately screeched to a halt and ducked under, grabbed me, pulled me under, and we sat there for 2 seconds, and then he realized, wait, calmed down. We looked up, took a deep breath, and he goes, and I looked at him and said, "You didn't have to explain anything. I understand exactly what the hell just happened." But it's events like that where it shows the real side on what soldiers go through in these horrific conditions, and they're glorified by Hollywood. And reality, there's no glory behind that shit. It's just really survival for your country and doing best what you think is what you're doing best for your country. But in reality, you're just being sent over there because you're another number to the government.
I would disagree with that, because there is that huge sense of purpose and pride.
Yes, I understand that.
Yeah, I do not think that I was deployed as a number, personally, right? That is, I believe, and I know that we did good work there. I know that for a fact. And I think that could be brought back to the Travis Manion has this famous saying, if not me, then who? Right. That,
Yeah.
yeah.
That I understand completely. I do understand that. But then the one thing I do understand that I do see from the other side is how easily they try to replace. And you can't replace good soldiers. You can't replace quality leaders. There's no replacing that. And when they're sent over, for example, I have a very, 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 very close friend of mine who was in the Marine Corps, who went to Afghanistan, who went to Iraq. I want to say it was a 2016, 2018. And what I was getting from his conversation was he was sitting back on a lot. He was always involved with leadership. Like he was always like that guy who was always next to the higher ups and just would overhear everything. And some toxic leaders, the way they would handle certain privates would be like, oh yeah, if he goes, then we just replace him with somebody else. Oh, if he goes, he's just another number. It's just like talks like that is what I'm talking about more. So it's just like, do we have toxic leaders that look at our soldiers as just another numbers or as just another contract versus, what a soldier really should be and is the quality of that soldier, and then they get treated as if they were another number. And then that's what pushes these soldiers to get out.
Sure. And that should be identified some way, somehow, that individual that is a horrible leader, right? I mean, there's the funny movie Horrible Bosses. Eventually they get found out, right? And
true.
When I talk to guys and gals that have bad leadership, regardless of in the military or out, you're building your own leadership style. And I think of it as this tool chest. And if you have a leader that is trying to build a house with crazy glue, that crazy glue doesn't belong in your tool chest. Then you can see that it is failing, right? And that's what I hope, instead of, well, this was done to me, so I'm gonna do it to them style of leadership. That's awful. That is an awful way to look at it. So
that's exactly the kind of leadership I fucking had in the damn army. Like,
right? Like
exactly the fucking same as the damn leadership that I had.
Yeah. So, if I would have learned
complex
one thing from my brother Dan, is his last message. He literally typed out, "You're the best friend I've ever had. Happy birthday." Last thing he ever did was a genuine, loving, and caring message. And then finally, he did a selfish act and decided to prematurely end his life. But I learned something super valuable from the act before, and it is genuinely care about people has a much longer lasting effect. It's not instant. There is no instant gratification in that. Anger is an instant reaction, but nurturement and care and love, you don't notice that. It's hard to continue that because there's no accolades to it, but it is the right thing to do. Like what you said previously, the only reason that the negativity of the military is in the media is because it sells. Negativity sells. Positivity doesn't. I'm a member of our VFW here in Patchogue. We just gave 4 kids scholarships. You'll never know. No one will ever know. No one will
never would have fucking heard that. Never would have heard that.
Nope. Never. You won't, because it's not bad.
It's not juicy enough. It's not juicy enough for the content.
Right. If four students robbed a liquor store, you'd hear about it
for at least a week minimum.
Right.
It's the prime example of this fucking last Sunday. This slap. If nobody would have known the Oscars are on if that damn slap didn't happen. But here I am now talking about the slap also. And you have everywhere talking about this damn slap. What the hell is happening in the Ukraine? You just had this. You had another conversation between Putin and oh my god, I'm always
Zelensky. My guy.
That's the definition of a leader. That's the definition of a fucking leader. That man kicks doors in and is not afraid to show his face. That man is the prime example of what it means to lead by example also. And one point I was going to say before we get into that part, even though like I experienced that the amount of toxic leadership, I don't not that way, and like I learned what not to do. One thing when I worked every job in the civilian world, I always learned what not to do now in the future. Working so many gyms, and when I eventually do open up my own facility, I know what not to fucking do now, and I know exactly who to cater to and how to cater to and what to do for the future. But didn't let that shit let me turn sour. But aside from that, from the last conversation, I've apparently from the last update that I've been paying attention to, apparently Russia's starting to really feel the major heat and starting to pull back a lot. And Russia's never would, if you would have thought Ukraine would have held off as much as badass as they fucking have right now, the trolls they are too, stealing tanks, you know, it's an amazing thing to see firsthand. This is the first time in real time we're actually seeing it firsthand. You have soldiers trolling each other on TikTok, on Instagram, while still shooting guns at each other, and it's still committing acts of war. It's fucking mind-boggling because people are looking at it like, oh, it's like entertainment. Like, no, they're actually fucking dying over there. Like it's again, fucking so many different topics just going off and on.
Instant gratification. Again, it is. It's weird. It's weird.
That's what's gonna blow up. That's what's going to go up on TikTok is, you know, the soldiers storming the fucking. How long did they run with the storming the Capitol? That went for at least a month and a half. But the amount of good that happened within that month and a half last year,
we'll never know.
No, we'll never know. We'll never know at all. And not saying that it takes away from that, because let's face it, that fucking day, never would have thought ever see a day that people would storm the Capitol like that in real time. But that's what I talk. That's what I said before. There's no script in this shit. It's just you know, it's just going bouncing around from topic to topic to topic. But there is one more question I do want to ask for get you out of here. And once again, I couldn't be more appreciative of your time. We were supposed to do this a couple different times, but just time fucking happens and life happens. Yeah, life happens, and we're both very passionate and very busy. So again, I take time very serious. It's something I take more serious than money, because time is something that you can't get back. And I'll reiterate that as much as possible on this podcast, because I truly want people to appreciate time, not only for yourself, but time from other people as well, because not everyone is always supposed to give you their time, or not everybody wants to give you their time. So when someone does give you that time, and especially if they have information that you want to, attain, and things that you are passionate about and they're passionate about also, it's very appreciative when I get a chance to really pick brains like yourself. So when I say thank you for your time, I truly do appreciate you for your time here. Now, with that being said, what is your message for every soldier, or every seaman, every airman, or going along the coast of the military, getting out? What is your message to them?
Yeah, my message to them is we're the most capable group of people in the world. It's been proven throughout history. That, on an individual basis, each veteran is themselves, right? So set your goal and achieve it. Have a SMART goal, something that is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-oriented. That is the acronym SMART. Have a SMART goal. More importantly,
I love it.
Yeah. To employers, to anyone out there that comes across this conversation and is an employer that is looking to hire talent, I close with this almost every time I speak, and it is that leadership academies like Yale, Harvard, all the Ivy League schools are great, but you will never be able to replicate the leadership of an enlisted military member. You just cannot. Someone that can take a commander's intent and get it done is irreplaceable. That talent is irreplaceable.
So, talk that shit. Talk that fucking shit. I'm fired up. I'm fucking fired up right now.
Get after it. Get after it.
Dude,
it's possible. If someone like me, who had purple and orange hair at the age of 16, can enlist in the Marine Corps, have a successful 8 years, and move on. You know, I'm now 17 years removed. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that I'd be able to accomplish so much? But I can credit that to what I've learned in the military.
Well, with that being said, this DFQ run, how can people get involved? When is it? And I just realized how fucking messy my hair. Speaking of messy fucking hair,
Me too. Definitely messy hair. Look at the freaking jerk.
Dude, my bad. But no, this DFQ run. DFQ. Talk about it a little bit. And we'll talk about everything else that we can do for as far as people can get involved, fundraisers, and all that stuff with it.
So the DFQ itself is a fundraiser, right? So you have the unique opportunity through the DFQ to sign up for the race, get all the swag, and not pay a penny for it. You can have other people fundraise on your behalf. So we do, like, if you feel like fundraising for yourself and donating $30, what have you, right? It's a cool opportunity it's a little give get. If you want to come do something super tough and get all the super cool swag and some photos and all of that stuff and accomplish something incredible, sign up. If you want to help fundraise for Project 9 Line, whose mission is to help reintegrate veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder to the community through arts and activities, perfect, right? This is the perfect race. It is a 9-mile run, followed by a 9-mile ruck, followed by a 4-mile run. All right, so there's some transition stuff in there. Should be tough. We're thinking the elite
fucking hate
finishers.
running, but I'll do this. I fucking hate running.
People that like to run haven't mastered rucking, and people that like to ruck typically aren't runners.
Yeah, I'm a rucker. Difficult. I'm definitely a rucker.
Yeah, you're a big dude. Like, it should be easier for you to ruck than carry that body.
Run with the fucking body for 9 miles versus ruck with that, and then plus a little bit on my extra back. Like, that's not a problem. I can ruck for fucking 12-20 miles. That's not a problem at all.
Yeah. So me being 5'8", $165 on a heavy day, right? But I've hiked a lot like that. Yeah. You could carry me as your backpack.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, but it's really exciting. It's really exciting. You can follow Vets Lives Matter on Instagram. The link to sign up is in my bio. Follow Project 9 Line on any social media. The link is there as well. We're working with Elite Feats. So they're sponsoring our race, which is awesome. They've done great for us in the past. But yeah, the easiest way, get on the Instagrams and follow Vets Lives Matter. It's in my bio. The link is there to sign up.
Awesome. Well, brother, man, I couldn't appreciate your time even more. Like, this was an amazing hour. I'm looking forward to the next one, because I'm definitely got to have you back on here again. Talk a little bit about that coin collection you got in the past. And I know you got some
books, some coins. We could just talk about whatever.
Your little plaque you got there behind you as well. Like, I see someone can shoot pretty damn good. So so that's gonna be some conversations we'll have. But again, one more time. I know you just said your Instagram and everything, but as far as like contact information, Gmail, anything else, like, is there anything else people can follow and reach out for future fundraisers?
Yeah, I mean, just Vets Lives Matter and Project 9 Line. Really the easiest way. If you're on Long Island, or actually if you're anywhere, Team Red, White, and Blue is another great place to be. Team Red, White, and Blue. So those three: Vets Lives Matter, Project 9 Line, Team Red, White, and Blue.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you around. I'll definitely see you at the race. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll see you coming to my gym around next week, right?
I'll pop in for sure.
Awesome. So, and also for anybody who's watching this and knows where Unique Fitness is in Holbrook, it's right off of Vets Highway, ironically. And you can find me if you have more questions and all that stuff. I'll be more than happy to give you the flyer and bring you the details as well. So, with that being said, thank you again for your brother. Thank you again for your time.
Sweet. Rock and roll, man.
All right, guys. So real quick, we're going to talk a little bit about your next protein purchase, which is going to be the Jocko Milk. So you're going to go to originmain.com. You're going to use promo code WELSH10, WELSH10 at checkout for 10% off your order. You're going to order yourself some Jocko Milk, and you're going to save yourself some money at the end of the day. If you find that you're buying yourself probiotics, digestive enzymes, essential amino acids, aka EAAs, or protein powder, and you're buying all of that separately, and if you're buying at a high quality rate, chances are you're probably spending anywhere between $120 to $200. Jocko Milk only costs $44.95 at originmain.com. And then if you use my code, like I said earlier, Welsh10, WELSH10, for 10% off your order at checkout, you can save yourself 10% off on top of getting yourself the best tasting and the best quality protein that's on the market. Thank you guys for watching the episode. Hope you have a great one.